And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the African American Athlete live stream. I'm Ricky Hampton with my friend and frat brother, Michael Roberson, coming to you on a Wednesday evening. And Mike, first and foremost, man, let's nothing but good thoughts to the folks down in Florida and
South
well,
Carolina,
yeah,
Georgia, everywhere.
the
The whole
last 2 weeks.
Southeast region.
The last 2 weeks have been hell down there.
Yeah.
And right now, Florida's getting hit again for the second time in 2 weeks with Hurricane Milton. So take cover down there. Be safe. Don't need to be any heroes. And some of you people who are passing out disinformation about a freaking hurricane, man.
Right. Well, some of those guys are scammers. So they basically put people in predicaments that all of a sudden now, you get in, and even Vice President Harris said that, you know what, they're going to really be pouncing on the people that do price gouging. Like, you get people that are stuck in that predicament and like, oh, yeah, you got to pay $50 for water or, the airport. Like, that ticket's going to be $1,000, So a lot of that stuff they have to really be cognizant of because these are when people really say, oh, I can make some money because these people are desperate. So,
that is utter nonsense.
Yeah.
So, hey, we wishing them well. But, man, there's a lot going on. This is the time of year where everything is crossing over. Baseball playoffs, start of the NBA. WNBA is going to their finals. Of course, college and NFL football, National Hockey League. You name it, you name a sport, you ought to be able to find it right now.
That's true. This is when your allegiance really comes into play. Like, okay, which sport do I roll? Which one takes precedent? Because a lot of people say, oh man, preseason, but the big story, of course, is Bronny and Bronny. Brian and Bronny. So, but still preseason. So some people are excited just to see that, but others are saying, okay, I'll wait for the season.
We could start with that. I thought that was just fantastic to see that happen.
Him in his memory here too.
The other night, the first father-son duo in the history of the National Basketball Association. And Mike, it's a reason why nobody's done that. Because nobody's been able to play at the level LeBron has played at.
Right. But let's not forget, though, it was still a big deal when the Griffeys did it. Everybody remembers him for the Big Red Machine, and of course the late Pete Rose. So that team, people of my age and your age, we knew about Ken Griffey Sr., so he wasn't a slouch. But for them, and his son comes up like, oh man, this is a non-stop superstar. This guy's definitely destined for the Hall of Fame. So when they did it, it was a big deal. But this right here is even more astronomical.
It really is. And Mike, I think one night the Griffeys hit home runs in the same
back-to-back homers.
Was it back-to-back?
It was back-to-back. Yep.
That will I'll write that one down. That'll never happen in baseball.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That even though this is special, I mean, let's not diminish how big that was. Because, like I said, I'm a little bit older than Ken Griffey Jr. So I had to have been maybe in college at the time. So I remember saying, like, man, that is amazing right there.
That is amazing.
And they be in the same lineup and then hit back-to-back homers. So, yeah, it was.
You know what? Maybe it's been so long I forgot about that.
Right.
Because I knew they had done it in the same game.
Right.
But so Papa must have been batting third or second, and Ken was batting third or fourth.
Yeah,
Junior was batting.
It might have been the other way around, and he might have hit it after him. But I can't remember the order it was, but it was back to back.
Wow, that's fantastic. But the reason this kid is able to do this, just watch his dad right now.
Yep.
I mean, he's out there running around like a kid. Our buddy Paul Mokeski, I was talking with him on our show. We Got Next about a month ago, right after the Olympics, and he got a chance to go to some of the practices when they were getting ready for the Olympics, because Paul and Steve Kerr are good buddies.
Right.
And Mo was like, he had more energy than anybody in the gym. He was the best. He was the best athlete in the gym. He was the best player in the gym. And he's freaking 50 years old. I'm like, now when you hear an NBA player say some stuff like that, that really says something.
Right. Especially when you got so many that are hating and like, oh, well, this is bad. Well, it's only because he played all this time. And I'm like, okay, but then you're also answering your own argument. If you're saying, well, it's longevity and all this stuff, I say, yeah, because that hasn't been done. I mean, you got Vince Carter that played all those years, but he wasn't doing stuff like this in his year. Even Kareem wasn't doing like this, but Kareem was awesome.
CBS, let me see. I wanted to go over this tonight, and we can. I think it was CBS Sports did their rankings of the top 100 players in the NBA. The CBS NBA crew did their ranking of the top 100 players in the NBA. Okay, top of your head, who's the 100th best player in the NBA? I'm kind of just joking with you.
The 100th, Bronny? I don't know.
They had Jabari Smith from Houston.
Oh, okay.
As the 100th best player. Mm. But I'm going to go with their version of the top 10.
Yeah.
And get your comments of it. Coming in at number 10, Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 9, Kevin Durant, Phoenix Suns. Number 8, LeBron James, LA Lakers. Number 7, Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics. Number 6, Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors. Number 5, Joel Embiid, Philadelphia. Number 4, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Oklahoma City. Number 3, Luka Doncic.
Oh, Luka.
Number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I can never say his last name.
Yeah.
The Greek Freak. Number 1, the Joker.
Yeah.
So your thoughts on that? Because I'll just tell you, give me any of those guys on that list, and I think they're all interchangeable. If somebody wanted to put LeBron, the only guy at this point in his career I wouldn't put LeBron over is the Joker.
I'll put him over him. I think the Joker's place is really exaggerated because when he won some of those MVPs, his team was mediocre. And I'm like, then it becomes a popularity contest. It's almost like they were mad when they gave it to Embiid that one year, and then the other years. I mean, then look how many they ripped off from LeBron when they just said, we don't just don't want him to have it. We don't want him to have it because he should definitely have more than Michael and Kareem. So
well, I got to go with Joker at this stage of their careers. The guy's unguardable, Mike.
Right, but once again, though, how much is he doing better than Embiid? It's just Embiid is injured so much, but I just think
Joker, there you go. Availability is.
But what I'm saying is that what makes him better than Giannis then?
Availability is, and like I said, first and foremost, give me any of these guys. I would take any of these guys on the Pistons right now and be a lot better. Yeah. So it's really, what's your flavor?
Yeah,
and you can put LeBron on top of that because the thing about LeBron, he's going to make everybody around him better as well. And the Joker does that with his pass.
Right.
Uh,
but like I said, LeBron averaged 30 that one year that nobody wanted to give him the MVP. Then he led the league in assists. I mean, versatility, just like how Wilt did. Wilt led the league in assists. And you can be like, that's a guy that averaged 50 points a game. And then let's not forget about Tiny's great year, led the league in scoring and assists. That's unprecedented.
Yeah.
That'll never be done.
Yeah. But that's a good list. Kevin Durant's just a tremendous shooter, scorer. Jason, I think the weakest player really on here is Jason Tatum. And when I say weak, the guy's outstanding. I would love to have them on the
right, and he's.
But I'm saying relative to that top 10.
Right, but once again, he's a first team All NBA. So once again, that's when you have to ask yourself: are we going by how they're ranked, or are we going by how the voters perceive them? Because once again, if you go by All-Star games, you're really not looking at the nuance of All-Star games and popularity contests. Because you're gonna go by, I mean, if you're a popular player, you're gonna be first. You're gonna be a starter on the All-Star team, and it shouldn't carry that much weight, but it does. Then you get into the whole how they do the NBA. So that they don't want to give LeBron first team NBA. So they said, well, we'll give him a bone and put him third team NBA. But I mean, he played better than Kawhi, but Kawhi was second team ahead of. I'm like, what are we doing here? Are we being realistic? There's no way Kawhi had a better season than LeBron did. So that's when you get into, okay, what are we really doing? And then when he got jerked for the Defensive Player of the Year, when they almost did it like an electoral college or like that tier system, because Marc Gasol wasn't even first team all defense. How do you win Defensive Player of the Year and you're second team all defense? That's a slap in the face, and that was an anti-LeBron moment right there, along with Derrick Rose's MVP and Kevin Durant's.
Kawhi Leonard is 18th on this list.
Yeah, well, they finally demoted him, but they were still giving him over that. Try to say, well, he's playing defense. I'm like, when they in the playoffs, especially in the bubble, they were torching him. So we got to stop saying he's the same guy from San Antonio, because that was a great team defense.
Well, he just can't stay on the floor. He only played 68 games last year. 68 games is probably a lot for him.
That's what I'm saying. So how do you put him a defensive team ahead of LeBron?
The thing about all this is it sparks the very conversation we having now. Because it's all, you know what I mean? Because it's all subjective.
Right. But we give too much credence to these guys that are voting when some of them are absolutely biased. Some of them are jerks. Some of them are doing anti-votes just to make them, because I'm wondering, the late Fred Hickman and then Gary Washburn, our guy in Boston. I'm wondering what was their reason for making these abstract votes that prevented Shaq and LeBron from being unanimous MVP. So Fred Hickman picked Allen Iverson. I'm like, okay. But then Gary Washburn said, I'm going to pick Carmelo Anthony. I'm like, are you serious? That was just then you have to ask yourself, does he have some disdain towards LeBron? And I hate to say that, but I'm just wondering, but because Carmelo was a great player, but at no point that he should have had an MVP vote over LeBron, especially back then.
But really, anytime you put it in the hands of sports, right? I mean, that's really always been the case,
right?
And it makes for good conversation. I thought this was a fun little article to see. Like I said, it was their staff of their 10 so-called experts.
Yeah,
because they're not really
crack staff that are staff on crack.
Yeah, crack staff. I'm gonna give you the next 10, and then we'll move on to something else.
All right.
The 11th player who could easily be in the top 10 if he stays healthy was Anthony Davis. Uh, you know, he's a great player. Just his thing is staying healthy. Number 12 is Victor Wembanyama. 13.
Wait, hold on. I think it's too soon to put him in the top 20. Yeah,
Okay,
1 year.
I'll let you comment. Let me finish it out. 13, Jalen Brunson. 14, Devin Booker. 15, Jalen Brown. 16, John Morant. Remember John Morant?
Yeah.
17, Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay.
18, I told you earlier, Kawhi Leonard. 19, Donovan Mitchell. 20, Paul George. So the Sixers have 2 guys in the top 20. Boston has 2 guys in the top 20. The Lakers have 2 guys in the top 20. And the Sixers. Did I say the Sixers?
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I said that. Okay. All right. Your thoughts on that second team?
Well, I don't agree with Paul George because he's been kind of coming up short. I think his best years were when he was with the Pacers. He's going at it with LeBron. But, since then it's been like playoff P, but it's been PU. So, and then he's had some on and off moments, like when Kawhi was hurt. One of the times Kawhi was hurt during the playoffs, he kind of like had them going on as him as the leader. So that's the first time I've seen him really do that since Indiana. And then we get to I like Brunson, but I think Brunson gets kind of lowballed too because of his height. Brunson led New York. He's the leader.
13th.
Right. But see, when you put guys that are like second banana ahead of a guy that's the first option, I just think that, sometimes that's not right. That's not right because, you're going to put Paul George in that top 20, and then you got I'm trying to think who else was the second. Oh, you got Jalen. So Jalen and Jason kind of got some weird thing going on because
I think I like Jalen more than I like
right. That's what I'm saying. But Jason for some reason is at a different echelon. Like I said, first team, All NBA, on the Olympic team. Jalen didn't. And then even though he got the postseason awards over Jason, it's still they look at him as the top dog on Boston, and Jalen is the second banana. So that's what I'm saying about when Brunson, who is the top guy on that team, they even got rid of left-hander, to make sure that that's his team, and they're gonna bring over Cat. Cat's coming to New York, so Brunson probably should be higher than some of these guys that are, once again, second option, even though Paul George had a little bit more first option because Kawhi is always, sideline. But it's still, everybody knows that's Kawhi's team, then maybe Paul George. But even with there was a couple times when Paul George slipped down to third. So, once again, these are opinions. And if you really get all hung up on it, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So
okay, I'm going to do 5 more. We'll do the top 25. 21, Zion Williamson. 22, Jimmy Butler. 23, Bam Adebayo. 24, Tyrese Maxey. 25, Kyrie Irving. So the Sixers have 3 guys in the top 25, according to these guys. Your thoughts on these 5 players?
I don't know why Kyrie is so low because look how impactful he's been, especially in Dallas. So, and then of course, every place he's been impactful, but it's almost like because they don't like his personality, things like that, they kind of shun him. But and I'm not gonna overinflate him because of that shot he hit in the finals, which some people have done, and probably including himself. But if you look overall, he's an unstoppable force. He's always able to change the whole flow of the game. And I just think that I probably would put him definitely ahead of Maxey and maybe a few other players. Once again, he has to deal with now, being in the shadow of Luka now. So he's wanted to be the man, but think about it. He left Milwaukee. He was a man in Boston, but that was a disaster. And now these young players have won on their own. And then he goes to Brooklyn. Then it's now you're behind Durant and the lefty. You're behind James Harden. So I don't know if he's still on a quest to be the top guy or he's content with being a supplementary player. But he still is a force that probably should be higher than 25.
Yeah, that's and man, it's just there's a lot of talented players in the league.
Right.
I'm looking on down here and I see guys that didn't even make the top 25, like Damian Lillard, Trae Young, Jamal Murray. All these guys are scorers.
Right.
But anyway, I thought that would be fun to look at. But what are you looking forward to seeing as the NBA season rolls around? I still think Boston is the best team in the East, even though the Knicks have done a lot, the Sixers have done a lot. In the end, I think it's going to be Boston and Philly again to get out of there. I think the West is wide open. Man, Minnesota can win, Lakers can win, Oklahoma City can win, Denver can win, maybe Phoenix can challenge it. It's going to be the Wild West again in the West, Mike.
Well, it depends because you could probably say that, okay, we gave Denver a lot of credit, but they may be only good for one championship. I mean, how many teams have we seen that, like, oh, they win it all? Like, oh, man, they're going to be a dynasty. And then all of a sudden it's like, what happened to them? So I don't know. And then Minnesota, you saw how many peaks and valleys they had. They looked awesome against Denver. And as soon as Dallas comes in, led by Kyrie, who started that series by just saying, all right, you want me, huh? Remember Edwards said he wants Kyrie? And then they worked them. They worked Minnesota. All of a sudden, then he started to say he's tired. I'm like, dude, you running your mouth so much. That's why you're tired. Stop all that until you win something. So that's why I don't trust Minnesota. Now they let Cat go. And then, I just don't know if they improved by getting who they got.
I like what Oklahoma City did, man. Bringing in the kid from the guy from New York, Hartenstein, to give them some size underneath, a rebounder. And Alexander's going to score.
Right.
They picked up Alex Caruso. They got Holmgren. They will be an interesting team, but I don't trust them either because they're still going to be so young.
Right. And we saw that when they pretty much should have had that series, and they let it go. And then, unfortunately, one of the last moments was Shea making a bad play. So, I mean, will they learn from it, or will they go into a shell and say, you know what, that might have been our best moment? So that's the thing about it, is that some teams you can have that'll always be there. You have some that are like shining stars. They're up there. The next thing you know, they dim. So that's what I'm saying about that. And then the East, the only way I could see it being different than what you said is if Giannis plays some serious ball, and then Dame says, "Okay, I know I have a deficiency on defense, but I'm gonna make this where they can't put that wall up for Giannis because I'm gonna be lighting them up from the outside."
Oh, Milwaukee,
but
I didn't mention them. Yeah, you
right.
gotta.
Right. And so he
I
feels
agree. I agree with you. Can't
right.
discount Milwaukee.
But he feels that, now that he's going to have a preseason with them and it won't be like a middle of the season trade and all that. So we'll see if they get it to click, because Milwaukee, just like I said about Denver, that might be that one-shot deal. And that one was even close because they should have been in the finals multiple times, and they found a way 19. That was theirs for the taking. And what they do, they up 2-0 on Toronto, about to go up 3-0, lose that game 3 in overtime. Then Toronto put up the wall. And it absolutely frustrated Giannis. And then, they got nothing out of Bledsoe, and it was just bad. So when they finally got it rolling, they had to get Drew Holiday, and then Giannis and all that. And Giannis, once again, they were down 2-0 to Phoenix. So that's another team that was up there. Oh, Phoenix is going to get it done, and they came back and beat them. So that's when you say, I don't know what team is going to be real and actually makes multiple trips to the finals, because Boston, they did do it twice, but they failed miserably against Golden State, that nobody even really took them serious. And they always found a way to lose, but they finally got it done. So does the confidence overflow and they go on multiple trips, or is it going to be a situation where we're going to still be asking, what's going on with these two? Does it work? And remember, that's what they were going through. And they had to go through some dramatic coaching scenarios. You have your guy that took you to the finals, and then he's gone because of some off-the-court stuff. And then this guy, Mazzulla, comes in, and it's like, does he know what he's doing? We might have to get rid of him. And then all of a sudden you're in the finals. And he got it done. So it is up in the air, but I also think it's up in the air in the East, because I think Boston can be had, as we saw what Miami did to them last year. I mean, that was embarrassing. And then you go from that to the championship. So we got to ask ourselves, which Boston team is going to show up this year?
Yeah. And I think about Boston, Porzingis is out until Christmas, I believe.
See that? And people forget how important he was when he came back in time for the playoffs. He came out and showed out, but then it started to catch up with him. But
he's a big piece to them.
Yeah, he was a huge piece, and that's they probably wouldn't have won if he wouldn't have come in and do that, because they might have doubted themselves again. They might say, what happened to us against Miami? We made that dramatic comeback and got it to 7 games, and then still lost Game 7 at home. So they had a hump to get over, plus getting over the hump of losing in the finals when you were the favorite to Golden State, and then you helped ingratiate Steph's legacy. So, because they can say, well, he won this one, and he finally got the Finals MVP. So that's what you did. You enhanced his career while dimming your own. So now winning it, I know it does a lot, but I'm sure Jason's saying it would have been a lot better if I'd have won it and got the MVP. So I think he might still have that chip on his shoulder.
Hey, Mike, let's get up to the WNBA. It's going to be the Minnesota Lynx and New York Liberty, the number 1 seed in the playoffs versus number 2 seed. But, Mike, they're playing a 5-game series for the WNBA title. Should it be 7 games like the men?
Well, you could say the same thing like with tennis. Tennis is 3 sets for the women, 5 for the guys. So maybe that's what it is.
Well, they don't think the women have stamina.
Well, remember, the season is truncated, compared to the men's season. So, everything is diminished to a certain level. So, and then, of course, maybe they think that if it goes 7, maybe not, they'll get that much viewership. So maybe they're looking at it, we want to have a condensed season where it's not too short, but not too long. And then we want the playoffs to be maybe, shorter so it could be competitive. Yeah. Because remember, another thing they do is they reorder the playoffs. They go by they don't go by East and West.
Right.
They go by they reshuffle the playoffs for how they're ranked. So that can be kind of crazy too, because like I said, you'll have, let's say you got New York playing Connecticut. Like, how's that a championship? You got two teams on the East Coast, but they reshuffle. You have that happen sometimes.
Yeah. So they tip off Thursday. That's tomorrow, right? Yeah. First game to be tomorrow on ESPN. They'll be on ABC on Sunday, and then the rest of the games will be on ESPN. So they have really been able to get the prominence of the league now has really been pushed up, and got to give Caitlin Clark credit for that. Her being drafted, and she had a good year. She won Rookie of the Year. But it's funny, they start Thursday, and if it goes 5 games, it'll be over October 20th. So they not messing around. They're going to get these in.
Yeah.
In the next few days. And of course, Brianna Stewart is who you got on. She's a terrific player.
Right. And a winner. I mean, 4 consecutive national championships at UConn. Yeah. Actually, the last time UConn has won. And then she's won in the WNBA already. Now she might be winning on another team on the other side of the country in New York. You know it's a big deal if you win in New York. So then Ionescu, she was a great college player. Actually spoke at the at Kobe's.
She went to UConn too, didn't she?
No, she was at Oregon. So she spoke at Kobe's remembrance, and then came up to Stanford, flew from LA up to Stanford, and dropped a triple-double. Messed around, got a triple-double. Yeah, it was crazy. I said, wow. I said, but unfortunately, they didn't bring her into the press room because I was going to ask. I said, so how did you give that emotional speech down there for a guy that you admire, Kobe, and then come up here and drop a triple-double on Tara's team? But I didn't get a chance to because they found some excuse why she just couldn't come in and talk to the media. I mean, the coach was kind of defensive about it because there was a where's Sabrina? We want to talk to her, but hey. But yeah, so that team seems to be destined to win it all. And remember, Vegas got off to a slow start, so people were questioning their 3-peat right away. But they thought they maybe would right the ship a little later. And then, of course, the whole year was all about Asia being the best player in the league, but the team was still playing mediocre. And, of course, all eyes were on the Fever with Caitlin. And then, of course, who they deemed as a villain, Angel Reese. Isn't it funny how they're treating an angel like a devil? So it's kind of weird how you get that juxtaposition like that. That a woman named Angel is basically looked at as she's the devil of this league. How dare her compare herself to Caitlin, even though she beat Caitlin in college and for the championship, and then Caitlin and beat them going to the championship. But, of course, they lose to South Carolina. And now it's going to be interesting to see what it's going to be like college basketball without her, the Golden Girl, gone. Who's going to take over that spot now?
Well, Juju's.
Yeah, definitely Juju. Yeah, absolutely Juju. But, will she fit that category as they were trying to catapult there? And there is.
It was a race factor going on.
It's a race, yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Will she be embraced that way, or they be looking for another one? I mean,
Juju just signed a big deal with Nike,
right? But think about this though. Before Caitlin emerged into this plateau, remember it was all about Paige Beckers, and Paige Beckers has been hurt so much. And she was on UConn, so she was supposed to have been the next one, but she's had so many injuries, and that's why she's still in college because she's actually redshirting and all that. So this could be her year, but I think it has to be Juju. And plus she has Kiki down there too. So Juju and Kiki, USC definitely should be in the Final Four.
And she's in LA. That won't hurt. That won't
In the
hurt.
Big Ten too.
So who? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I may have to go check out when they come.
That's what I'm saying. So here's the thing. If Caitlin would have stayed in, because she did have eligibility to stay in, just think about what that Big Ten matchup would have been.
Wow.
I know. And yeah, it was a few others that could have stayed too, but I know she made the right move by leaving. Look all the accolades she got, and you get Rookie of the Year. You can't get too much better than that, except for doing what Candace Parker did, got Rookie of the Year and MVP. Something that Will Chamberlain did. So.
Hey Mike, this hour was flying by. Let's move to the NFL. And
let's not forget baseball.
We'll get it. We'll get it. But I gotta ask you about the firing of Robert Saleh by the Jets. Aaron Rodgers said he had nothing to do with it.
He also said he was immunized. Remember that? And then everybody said, "Oh, okay, we believe you, Aaron." And then once people started to question it, he gets to go on the Pat McAfee show and give his diatribe and his political beliefs and all that stuff. Whereas, as I keep saying, my guy Evander Kane was sitting there just saying, "Well, hey, he has a fake vaccination card. Guess what we're going to do to him? We're going to suspend him an unprecedented 21 games, and we're going to fine him over $1 million, and we might even kick him out of the league." So that's what I'm saying about how lopsided that is. It's like, and he had no platform to talk about what he's going through, like Aaron did. So that's why it's just so frustrating to the way they lay down and basically give him carte blanche on everything. And now he's in NYC, always has this snarky attitude. He's still on the Pat McAfee show, but now it's on ESPN, so it's even broader. And then he does this trip to Egypt, which caused a lot of this. Does a trip to Egypt, and then Salah made the mistake of saying, "Well, it's not an excused absence." And so, and of course, Mr. Smug was upset about that, and I think that probably led to this whole scenario. Then they got the incident where they were supposed to be doing a hug when it kind of like pushed him away. And I just said, "Dude, this is not looking good for Salah." And then, of course, his record wasn't that good either. But, of course, it was a big deal that he was the first Muslim coach to be an NFL head coach. So, I guess that's out the window now. And then, like I said, coaches of color, they're just starting to dwindle. And then we're going to see the quarterbacks probably too, unless there's another resurfacing, because look how they just looking at it. Now we got Daniels doing well in Washington, so he's set. But we see what happened in Carolina, and then of course, the situation with Justin is that he's catapulted out of Chicago, but now he's in a quarterback battle with Russ, and then we're pushing Russ off to the side. Like, oh, well, they shouldn't even bring him in. I'm like, yeah, but is this going to make the Steelers better though? I mean, because even though they got those first few wins, they just had 2 straight losses. And check this out. Talk about coincidence. I'm actually going down to Vegas when the Vegas is playing against the Steelers. So I might see that whole situation right in front of me. Will Russ play, or will they go Justin again? Then if they get 3 straight losses, what happens? Because, Tomlin has a streak going of not having a losing season. And this could be the one if they let this get out of control.
I think they'll be okay. I think either one of them back there, because they're so good defensively,
right?
That they're going to win a lot of games. But I was going to say this about Rodgers. The thing is, man, they're going all in on Rodgers. He is not the Aaron Rodgers of 6-7 years ago.
Right.
He hadn't been a good quarterback in 2 or 3 years, Mike.
That's what I'm saying. And the thing about it is that his 3 interceptions is absolutely the reason they lost. They lost by 6. Right. And you threw 3 interceptions, and the scapegoat.
One back for a touchdown.
There you go.
You take that one play away, they win the game.
Yes, exactly.
And y'all have gone all in on this dude that are coming in and run the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
He's running it all right.
Into the ground.
Yeah.
No, but we'll see. I mean, I wonder if he's gonna make that proclamation again. RELAX. Relax. I wonder if he's gonna say that again because
that ain't gonna fly in New York, man. That ain't gonna fly in New York. Hey, we're gonna get to the baseball playoffs, but in our old stomping grounds, my hometown, your city where you went to school, Nashville, Tennessee, the Vanderbilt Commodores beat Alabama.
Yes.
Brother, you could have got all my money that I have in my possession. I would never bet that. But they went in there and they beat them 40-35. I was actually I wasn't really watching the game, but I would too. You know how you flip it around.
Yeah. I was the same way. I just said, what is happening here?
Yeah, and I said, okay, because Bama got it in the second half and they scored the first drive. I said, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And I just left the game. And I come back, Vandy answered them.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But Mike, the thing is, after the game,
they took the goalpost. Yeah.
The goalpost. Kim Rafferty joining us now, who was downtown in the middle of the excitement. Kim, we saw the rumors on X that they were going to take it to Broadway, and they took it to Broadway.
Kelsey, it was so incredible.
With the great Hope Hines.
They got the goalposts.
Yep. And put in a Cumberland River.
They're walking down West End
to
Broadway. And then they threw it in the river.
Yep.
That is.
Now, let me ask you this question. What would have happened if that was the TSU students doing
I've had an ass for you.
They'd have been calling them all kind of vagrants, and they should be arrested for this. But these guys they're such intelligent guys. They're just having fun. They're blowing off steam. This is unprecedented win, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, the new coach, remember, he used to be the Washington coach. So I'm sure people are going to be saying, hey, man, you don't understand Southeastern Conference football. You're up there in the lily pad up there in the Pac-12 where, you got just only maybe a couple of good teams. This is the real conference here. I'm sure he's getting a lot of that right now, especially from what's his name, the one commentator that always has something to say about the SEC. Oh, I forgot his name on ESPN.
Feinbaum.
Yeah, especially when he made a comment about life's not hard for black people anymore. I said, what? And I forgot who was on with him. I said, man, I would have walked off the set if he said some nonsense like that and really was able to keep going without getting admonished for that. So, but yeah, that was big.
But Mike, it's funny you mentioned that. I don't know if you talked to any other TSU alums this week, but I've had 4 or 5 people look at that and say, "Can you imagine?"
Exactly.
TSU students have done.
Well, just think if they'd have beat Notre Dame. Just think if they'd have beat Notre Dame last year. That would have been.
That's a goalpost for even though it was in Notre Dame.
Right.
You would still go down there to hell and tear that one down.
Exactly.
Man, they wouldn't got off John Merritt Boulevard.
Nope, not yet. Wouldn't have made it to when it's considered Jefferson again. Definitely wouldn't have made it to the east side. Absolutely by Farmers Market. They definitely got them.
No, they wouldn't have got the.
That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't have made it that far east. I mean, they would have probably
got the fist, man.
That's what I'm saying. Well, they'd have got to Meharry so they could get put in there because of all the billy clubs. Citizens Bank, all that stuff.
and see, I knew you would understand because some people they won, they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
I get that, I can dig that, but there's a difference on how students from Tennessee State are treated there, the perception of the university, and the perception of Vanderbilt University. I was home, I may have told you about this, maybe 6-7 years ago. And I was on West End, and something went down. Cops were everywhere.
Right.
Right across. It was an old Burger King right across the street from Carmichael Towns at Vanderbilt on West End.
Okay.
I said, I want to see this in the paper tomorrow. Not a thing. If somebody gets 5 miles at Tennessee State,
Yes. Yeah.
a shooting by Tennessee State University.
Yes. Yeah. Even if it's at Fisk.
Right. Yeah. They go TSU in there. I knew you would get that. But hey, I mean, that's a great win by Vanderbilt. And Coach DeBoer, brother, you in the SEC now, like Mike was saying.
Exactly. And you got the #1 team. You just upset Georgia. You know, look, you on top of the world, then you let Vanderbilt, the Ivy League of the South, knock you off. The doormat for years, especially when I was in school, they were horrible. I was like, man, we could beat them. And I said, and I went to a few games. I went to a few SEC games back then because, you know, it was kind of easy to get in.
Yeah.
I wasn't even paid if
TSU used to outdraw Vandy all the time.
Oh, and they used to get all our concessions. They loved when we came over there.
But Mike, so the boy went from the top of the football world to the bottom of the Cumberland River in 1 week.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Hey man, we got to get going. We're gonna get cut off.
Get baseball in before we go, though.
Hey, speaking of, man, the Detroit Tigers. People here are going crazy, and I can't blame them. Tigers beat Cleveland today 3-0. They shut them out. The last 2 games to take a 2-1 lead in this series. And Mike, I don't know how they're doing it, man. Half this team is from Toledo. Their total payroll is not even $20 million that they have on this.
Well, Oakland would be proud how they're doing that with the numbers like that. But then
the late great Billy Bean would love this.
Exactly. But of course, once again, I got to watch a team that the Brewers choked against, might be in the World Series, the Mets. The Mets made it a miraculous comeback against the Brewers. They're down 2-0 in the 9th inning. In the game, the series is pretty much over, right? And they came all the way back, won the game, advanced, and now they just dispatched the Phillies. So it might be amazing Mets again this year. So we'll see. But I just got so tired of Derek Jeter and all those guys saying, yeah, it's been a long time. I know you guys are. I said, a long time. The Brewers have never won. How do you think the Milwaukee fans feel? You got to sit there and watch the show every single year since the '82 World Series with Willie McGee as a rookie running all over the place, and they were up 3-2, and we sat there and watched them blow that, and they've been miserable ever since. Every year they got a team that's pretty good. They get to the playoffs, fizzle. So I'm frustrated with that.
You know they're not happy in Philly, man.
Oh yeah, that either.
First year, but lost in the series and lost the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So it might be some heads rolling in Philly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They have put a lot of money into that. And you know what else, Mike, man? During the regular season, I watch. I keep up with it. But I kind of do like I was just saying, we flicking on these college games.
Right.
But playoff baseball is really, it's intense, it's fun to watch. And the reason is simple, because if you lose this game, it really means something.
Yeah.
I mean, actually means something if you lose the regular season.
Right.
But you still got 161 more.
Yeah.
Is that how you look at that too?
Yeah, well, exactly. And then you think about all the intensity you have to deal with, a pitch count. I mean, either Big Papi or maybe A-Rod was talking about how nowadays none of these pitchers are going past the 5th inning, so that wears down the bullpen. And I said, man, that's a good point. And I said, you think about it, that the bullpens are now, it's even more intense when you get to the playoffs. You got to be ready to go because these pitchers, they're making changes quick because they're worried about, once again, losing 1 game, which will change the whole series. So,
And I tell you, that's what I get it. They try to protect these guys' arm, but they're still getting hurt.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, but we talked about how the playoffs changed, at least for the fans, when Caitlyn was eliminated. The Dodgers are close to being eliminated.
Yeah.
People want to miss Ohtani. They want to see Ohtani in the playoffs, but he's kind of falling down a little bit. And then you get Aaron Judge is not getting it done in New York. So with the Yankees,
speaking of the Dodgers up 3-0 in the second inning.
Okay, well, they need that because
but Kershaw gets hurt every year.
Yeah. If he doesn't get hurt, he has a horrible performance or two also.
Right. Yeah. Every year. And people always talk about he's a great pitcher. To me, he's like Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a baseball. You keep telling me how good he is, but I never see it.
Yeah.
Right? When it counts. I agree he's talented, but we never see it when it counts. But anyway, we got that going on. We got about 3 minutes, Mike. Anything you want to go next?
Well, just like I said, hockey's kicking off.
You got a game tomorrow, right?
Yeah, but I got a game tomorrow, and like I said, be going down to Vegas for the weekend. Be my first time in that stadium, so that's kind of cool to see. And then I'll hopefully be going down there in a couple more weeks. Will be kind of a doubleheader with hockey and football. But yeah, I'd be eager to see that new stadium, and then just the whole ambiance of that. And hopefully, he won't lose too much money on the blackjack table.
Hey man, go down there and make some money. Just remember your fly brother, man.
Oh yeah, I wait. Yo. But yeah, but that's about it though. And then we got soccer is winding down, but the local team is not doing well. Then the women's side, they have a game coming up, and they got a slight chance in their inaugural season. They got a slight chance to make the playoffs. So they have C. So we'll see if I have.
I know what I wanted to hit you with. What was it like for the A's playing that last game? I think they sold out for their last game.
Right. Yeah. I didn't go to that one. My last game was the one against the Yankees. It was their last game against the Yankees. So I got a chance to ask Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge grew up not too far. He grew up like right outside of Stockton, which is a little bit east and from here, but then it's closer to Oakland than San Francisco. So he was out here twice. He was out here for the A's, because that's the American League team, but they also played the Giants. And I said, well, okay, you grew up with, you did like I did. You grew up with multiple teams in your area. I said, so how did you decide on the Giants when you're actually closer to the A's? He said that most of the people in Linden, the name of the town, most of the people there were Giants fans, and he said his father was a Giants fan, so by happenstance, he happens to be a Giants fan. So then,
I bet his dad was a Giants fan because they have Willie Mays, Willie McCutcheon.
Yeah, that does help. And then you get to that last game they ever played in Oakland. I asked him, I said, okay, this is it for you. You'll never play here again. I said, so what do you feel like? He said, yeah, there was a lot of great moments that happened in the stadium. He's talking about the World Series, because remember, they won 4 World Series in Oakland. So he talked about that, and then he talked about, just some of the moments he's had there. So, it was a big thing. But yeah, as for the last game, that last series, I believe it was the Texas. Yeah, I didn't go to that one because I think I had other stuff going on, and I knew it was going to be ridiculous over there on that last day.
Hey, we got to go, but just one more thing. Did Reggie Jackson ever come around?
Yeah,
I missed him.
I think he and Ricky Henderson and all those guys were there for that last game. But the games I've been to, I missed them. Matter of fact, that last game I went to, that Yankees one, that was I got the Ricky Henderson bobblehead because they had that bobblehead during that series. So I made sure I got that because I wanted to commemorate that, and I got a Vita Blue one too. So I made sure I at least got those 2 bobbleheads because
the league would not be the same without.
It would not be the same, especially going up to Sacramento and playing in a minor league ballpark. It'd be like playing a game over with the Sounds, even though they got a new stadium and it looks better. Remember Greer Stadium? Just think Greer Stadium.
But what I loved about the A's, man, back in the day, those uniforms were like,
and the white shoes. Yeah,
they were sweet, man. With Charlie O'Phillips. Hey, but we got to get out of here, man. I think gonna charge us double time.
right.
We'll do it again next week for my friend and frat brother Mike Roberson. I'm Rick
Let me just say
Hampton.
this last thing too. We got to play credence to Marcel Reed. He is getting it done down there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, friend of the family. I mean, friend of the show.
Absolutely.
And it's time. All right.
All right. Yo. Take care, everybody.
Peace.